Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This is Brushing Up with Sean, and we are going to learn to paint water just like this, coming right up. So let's go ahead and get started with this awesome painting here. We just got back from vacation to California, and man, it was amazing. We went to Huntington Beach, and I was so inspired that I wanted to really get some of that water effect. So we went to the beach, and gosh man, it's so beautiful down there. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our three basic colors: blue, green, and white. So I'm going to go ahead and mix in some blue with some green right now, and we're going to make like this nice turquoise. Blue and green. And it's just a nice little turquoise right here that we've got. It's quite a bit actually. We want to lighten it up, so I got some white here. Scoop up some of that white, and you can see what that does. That softens it quite a bit already. Bringing in some of that white. Kind of makes like an aquamarine color. But everybody's going to have a different take on this, so mix whatever you'd like. Once you've got it on your brush, though, you're going to see I've got my large size brush, and I'm going to cover a lot of this really quick with this color. You can see it's just a nice aquamarine color. And this is just a real fast step, covering a lot of this canvas up. Don't worry, we'll add a little bit more depth here shortly, but we first want to add this nice base layer of color. And this is such a pretty color. It's okay if some of that different color gets off your brush there. We're gonna just play with it and have some fun. It's kind of just looking down into the water, really. It's almost a reflection of what the sky is doing as well. So each color, each water is so different, but at least this will give you kind of the basics of kind of how to get started with your water. And again, I'm using just three basic colors: blue, green, and white. Covering this canvas, you can try to get rid of those little dots you see coming through, if you can. And I'm using a big brush. This is my 3-inch brush here, just because I know it covers canvas very quickly. And check that out. You're more than welcome to paint your edges too. I leave that up to you if you want to do that. There's some greens, there's some blues on your brush that might be coming off all weird. Don't worry. Just go back and forth, side to side, up and down, whatever you like, all around. And you can see that's got a nice aqua color, but I'm gonna go ahead and make a little bit of a darker aqua color down here. I just put some plain blue on my brush. Just gonna add a little bit of blue down here below. Wow, ooh, look at that. Got it scooped up a little bit more. Don't worry. Every water is so different. I'm just elongating brush strokes. Check that out. Look how long those brush strokes are. And all I'm doing is just kind of blending some of that. We're gonna chop it up with reflection and all sorts of highlights here anyway. So don't worry about perfection, guys. We're just blending these kind of cool colors here, just seeing what happens, taking it. And I'm gonna maybe add some blue into this corner here a little bit more. And it just blends in. So you can see it almost has a little bit of a gradient effect right there. There you go. Tra-la! So that's your base layer. Now, it's all about adding lots of layers of highlights, all right, and changing it up, all right? So you can see we've got that mixture of color, that first turquoise color. You want to make some more of that, all right? So take some white, make some more. Now that paint is already starting to dry on here. Now I'm taking a smaller size brush, and I'm adding a little bit of this kind of choppy highlights here. Okay, I'm just gonna very randomly add some of these lines. Some are a little bit closer together, some are a little bit further apart. Now some of them can go down a little bit, and some of them can go, they're almost like little diamonds, like flat diamonds, think of that. You can see, but what it does is it's just highlighting that, showcasing where some of these highlights are going to be on your water. It's just a fun step, and you just take your time on this, because I know it's so weird when you're trying to paint water because it's constantly moving, right? But if you can, maybe take like a still photo, like just a little photo of some water at your pool or something, and just see the ripples, and just take a look in depth. Some of these diamonds, these little colors, these different colors that are popping off. All it is now is we're working on some like highlights, reflection, little random imperfections in that water because it's moving all over the place on us. And it's different layers of movement. All right, we're adding our first layer, which is not the most highlighted part, but it definitely has a nice effect to it. And you can see I'm making some smaller little ripples down here too. No worries. Again, nature is not perfect, right? We use that to our advantage. I'm gonna add some of these right up here, maybe a little bit closer together. You can see they're almost like these like flattened diamonds with maybe just a few little sparks coming out. But your highlighting is starting to show up. It's starting to kind of take shape a little bit. All right, I'm gonna add, oh gosh, got a little bit of brightness on there. Don't worry, hey, whatever. We're gonna add it anyway eventually, so you can see that's where we're gonna be going. It's okay. You can make mistakes. I want you to. It's how you learn. It's how you figure all this stuff out here. This is not just overnight things that people get. It takes a while to understand your brushes, your paints, all differently. They all work so differently. All right, I'm just gonna add some more highlights. I'm kind of getting a little bit lighter on my brush so you can see it, because it is, we have this kind of a weird effect where it's getting lighter up here, and we want to kind of show it off a little bit. So I'm making some of those diamonds. And just showcasing. Again, 3 basic colors, blue, green, and white for this painting. And it takes a while. It's a lot of repetition, it's a lot of randomness. There's barely any paint on my brush. I'm just kind of using what I have left on my brush and just taking it as far as I can go. You can really hear the brush is just dry as can be with just a little bit of paint on there. But what that does is just helps give these little low lights compared to the highlights we're about to add. Oh, there's a little bit more that came off on my brush there, no worries. Maybe there's a big ripple right there. Okay, and what you want to do is just slowly add a little bit more white on your brush. And you can start seeing these new highlights. You still want to break it up some, but you can see I'm just using the real flat end of this brush here. You can switch it. You can go to a smaller size brush if you'd like. But I'm just highlighting and showcasing some of these diamond patterns here. Again, we're kind of moving through this very quickly. This does take time. All right, this is one of those things where you see a lot of artists and they'll just all of a sudden have this all completed Okay, they took a little bit more time. They're not showing you everything, all right? They probably spaced it out or timed it out and time-lapsed or whatever. We're just doing it in the raw. We're just gonna go right at it. Again, I'm just taking some of these highlights and just showcasing them, breaking up that original color of the water there, that aquamarine. And eventually we're gonna work on waves and all sorts of stuff, but I want you to get kind of a good feel of flow with your highlights in this water, because it is a little bit more advanced now. We're starting to get into a little bit more, you know, of a different feel for sure with fluids and things like that, reflection, all sorts of things. Those take a little bit more time to grasp and learn because they're moving and they're reflecting a lot of light. How you doing at home? Okay, hang in there. Okay, I'm gonna add some more up here, but I'm just adding those real light aqua colors now. Almost a little bit of white. You can see it's just so faint, so bright. And then if you wanted to, you could certainly add more depth into this water by adding like a little bit of blue. You know, if you wanted to add a little bit shadowing, maybe look like the water's a little bit deeper in parts. That's how you would do that. You would just add a little bit more lowlights. I'm gonna add some cool fun highlights right here in the middle because we need some love in there. But I really love this. Look at the coloring, just really pretty. That's right, I said pretty. Look at that. Now I'm just adding these little touches of this bright highlight. And what that does, it gives another illusion of another layer, yet another layer, right? Of these cool pool or like ocean highlights, just reflecting light. That's all it's doing. You can see it's got a little bit more depth down below just because it's a little bit, you know, darker right there, but you can see, wow, like what a difference. You know what, and take a step back. You know, right here, I wanted maybe a little bit more. Take a step back and look at what your water's doing. Maybe you just need to see, maybe you want to add a little bit of a highlight somewhere else. You know, maybe I want to add a little bit more right here. There's something more going on here. You know, take a step back and look at your painting. Just see, you know, how it's turning out for you. Everyone's going to have a little bit of a different take on this, so, you know, I want you to just go with the flow. Take your time. Again, I'm going a little bit faster than what you probably want, but just hit the rewind button, right? Look at that. Adding these little highlights and breaking it up, these little diamond patterns almost. Okay. Maybe there's a little bit more highlight right there. Look at that. Oh, look at that. It popped off my brush. No big deal. That's a cool highlight right there. Look at that. Just added more. Just added something that wasn't. I love it. Go with it. Okay? So just mess around with it. Again, if you want lowlights, let me just show you real quick here. I'm going to add a little bit of blue into that and just have a little bit on my brush. But check this out. Watch what this does. You can see I'm going to add even more of a different color and lowlights here. You can just add, you can see just it's a new reflection. It just maybe caught a little bit of a different light all of a sudden. Every water is so different everywhere you go. And that's the beauty of it. That is what is so fun about doing these paintings, is there's such beauty. And look at that. I'm gonna add some more of that blue. I just love that blue that got off that brush. just gonna take whatever's left on my brush and just kind of add some low lights, just kind of change the coloring of this. But again, we went to California. It was so good to see friends and family out there. Had to paint some water because we went to the beach, and man, oh man, it was so much fun. So I hope you enjoy this one. Again, play around with it, mess around with it. This is a light texture of water and light highlights here just very quickly. We moved on it very fast. Take your time. I want you to, just really grasp, what water does. It's all different all the time. It's hard to keep track of that, okay? I know, but don't worry. You got time. Just mess around with it. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. See you on the next show.